Hello once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome back to another episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game. This past Sunday, the 49ers were able to complete the biggest second half comeback in NFC Championship game history, defeating the Detroit Lions 34-31 and solidifying a second trip to the Super Bowl in 5 seasons. The game started out rough, with Detroit dominating on both sides of the ball. But some good second half adjustments, along with on-point execution and gritty, spectacular playmaking by Brock Purdy, lifted the 49ers to the victory. Hats off to the Lions. They were well prepared, tough at the point of attack, and fought the entire game. We'll take a look at the film and see what the issues were on both sides of the ball in the first half, and then take a look at some of the key plays from the second half. Normally, with so much to cover, I'd split a game like this in two, but that's not an option this week, as early Wednesday morning, I'm heading to Mobile, Alabama to cover the Senior Bowl. So make sure to have your notifications on to be alerted to when I'll be going live, discussing what prospects to be on the lookout for from the Senior Bowl practices. All that being said, let's jump to the film and see how the 49ers were able to advance to the Super Bowl. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. Right from the start, struggles in the run game jumped off the game, even from the broadcast. Early on, we really struggled with gap integrity, something I talked about a lot in my preview video. One thing Detroit did was come out in a lot of base personnel to put Oren Burks on the field, and they went after him. This is something the defense needs to figure out before the Super Bowl. Here, the Lions come out in 12 personnel, which is 1 back and 2 tight ends. This puts Oren Burks on the field as the Sam backer. They're going to run a split zone, which looks like a wide zone, but you bring a tight end across the formation to kick out the end man and attack inside out, backside. We're in cover 3 zone. If the run is towards Burks, he's got the B gap. Away from him, he's got the A gap. He doesn't read the split flow action correctly, attacks the wrong gap, and we have no one in the A gap, and it's a big chunk gain. You can see Fred getting after Burks after the play for missing his gap. Then 2 plays later, Fred himself is going to give up a huge play. Detroit is coming with a wide receiver reverse. Fred Warner gets completely fooled by the run action inside, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is able to block him out. Mooney Ward and Diamador Lenore are trying to force his play back into where Fred Warner should be, but there's no one there, and they get a huge explosive for a touchdown. Early on, Brandon Ayuk made a play that most people probably forgot about by the time the game ended, breaking up a near interception. Well, what happened? First, so we know how the sausage is made, here's a short clip from my preview video on something I thought Shanahan would attack against the Lions. Here, the Rams are going after that. The Lions are in cover 3 zone, and the way Detroit plays their 3 zone, the flat defender is responsible for matching the number 2 if they go out or vertical, and the outside corner will match the final number 1 if they go inside. So here, the Rams are going to run a stutter and go against them, and you'll see the outside corner jump on it, and the Rams hit it for a huge touchdown. So here we are, same corner, we're trying a stutter and go, and this is a shot play, but this time the Detroit corner, Sutton, didn't bite at all. For much of the game though, we struggled to get the run game going. One thing the Lions did was utilize a 2-eye technique, which is a defensive tackle lined up at the inside shade of the guard. And these guys played a really solid game and kept Anzalone clean for much of the game. We're running a wide zone, and one of the keys is a zone block on the 2-eye or the 1 technique, which is somebody on the outside shade of the center. If he takes the A gap, that's Brendel's man to execute a reach block, where he's got to cross his face and seal him off. If he takes the B gap, Feliciano is supposed to drive him to the sideline. Whichever man doesn't block the 2-eye will move to the second level. But their defensive tackles did a good job of splitting the assignments and occupying the guards while drawing the center assignment. I know this is a mouthful, but as we watch the play, they draw the double team, and Anzalone stays behind his defensive tackle waiting for McCaffrey to make his cut. Once McCaffrey sees the color flash, he looks to cut it back, but Anzalone's right there, and the drive ends in a missed field goal. Back on defense, like I said, they went after Oren Burks. Here we're in cover 3 zone again. Note Burks is to the top. They're coming with this run you see us run all the time. It's a wide zone, but you bring late tight end motion to blast out the EMOS or end man on the line of scrimmage. For the coverage where it is now, if this run is to Burks' side, he has to play outside the defensive end and funnel things back into Fred Warner. But he hesitates, gets walled off. You can see Fred Warner is looking to fill his gap, but Burks is there. He needs to take on the outside hole with his outside shoulder and funnel this play back inside. So they give up a first down. So on 2nd and 6, one play later, they go after him again. We're showing cover 3 zone to present an extra element in the box, but post snap will back out into cover 6 zone. But with the corner and off coverage and Burks as the overhang defender, they know he'll be in the flat. They're going to come with run action and have a sail concept, which is a clearing route, a corner route, and a flat route. The run action holds Burks just a little, and you see he doesn't cover space in the flat real well, and they just get a dump off to the running back in the flat for a nice gain. Then they get another big run, and this is a mix of tough play call and poor execution. So it's 2nd and 10 and we're in man coverage. This is a counter run where they're going to block everything down, bring a man across to kick out the end man, and the running back will take an inside handoff and work back across. This is where it's tough on your defenders. They're in man, so when the tight end and wide receiver block down, they initially want to move in man coverage, but that gives up the edge and you end up with no force defender on Jahmyr Gibbs, who is one of the fastest players in the league. Then, when you need to stand tall, Kinlaw doesn't anchor well. This is where his pad level becomes an issue. He can get too high. As a defensive tackle, he's got to anchor down and eat up this double team. The way Young and Lenore play this is really nice. They have a shot at blowing this play up, but Kinlaw gets dug out of the play and moved 5 yards off the ball. And this sets up the Lions to go up 14-0. But on the next drive, we'll be able to put up some points on the board, and it's kicked off by what became a trend, Brock Purdy making some plays. We saw how strong Detroit was at the point of attack against our wide zone, so now we're going to run the slide concept, which looks like the wide zone but is a movement pass back the opposite way. Detroit, though, reads it the whole way and drops everyone to cover it beautifully. How Brock Purdy is able to avoid this rush and find Juszczyk running to daylight is amazing. I was a little surprised that we didn't see more inside running in the first half. Here you see Detroit is coming with a 2-eye again, and we're just running an inside dive play. Watch the job Feliciano does on the 2-eye. That's a pancake. Kittle on Hutchinson, that's a pancake. And McKivitz, with some help from McCaffrey, that's a pancake. And that's an IHOP short stack right there. Then we get an explosive to McCaffrey with Purdy burning the blitz. So we start out with Kittle wide, and with the corner on him reveals zone coverage. We have a couple concepts dialed up here. To the 3 receiver side, we have a dagger concept with a through route paired with a dig or a widened over. To the 2 receiver side, we have a bench concept with a deep out route or bench route paired with a quick out. This is where Purdy is so good. Detroit is showing too high zone here. At the snap, they're coming with a 3 deep fire zone blitz off the weak side with a stunt action. The defensive end will slant across Trent Williams' face to draw him inside, and Anzalone looping outside. Purdy sees the free blitzer to the safety, Gardner Johnson, and gets it out to his hot, McCaffrey, who gives a wicked stiff arm and gets an explosive. Then we get McCaffrey in on a touchdown on a wide zone. The one stop we had in the first half was on a play we saw Wilks run a number of times. So I won't show the clip for time, but if you watch my preview video, I showed a creeper blitz the Rams ran against the Lions that I said we should run because it was so effective. Well, that's what you're going to see here, and you're going to see a number of times in this game. We're showing man coverage, but post-snap, we'll be coming with Greenlaw on a creeper blitz, which is when you bring a second-level defender on a rush, but still drop 7 in coverage. In this case, cover 2 zone. We do this by dropping Chase Young. By presenting Young and Warner away from Greenlaw, you're forcing a line slide towards where you're dropping out, forcing the line to block air, and then create a 3-on-2 rush situation unless they keep the running back in to block. This is what I showed on the preview video. You see how the creeper blitz forces the right tackle in a 2-on-1 situation, and he has to take the immediate inside threat and leaves Bosa unblocked. Goff wanted to try and throw into the blitz, but because it was still 7 men in coverage, Warner slides underneath the throw, and Goff narrowly avoids throwing a pick by pulling it down, but has to eat a sack by the unblocked Bosa. I know Wilks has taken a lot of heat, and it's been deserved at times, but we still have to give credit when it's on well-designed, well-timed calls. Back on offense, we have a gut-wrenching pick. The Lions are showing 2-zone pre-snap. We're running a dagger concept, which I talked about earlier. At the snap, the Lions drop into cover 3 cloud, where you have a corner in the flat. The middle safety takes Kittle on his through route, and this one is on the offensive line. 1, Purdy is a tad late because he has to shift in the pocket just a little bit. 2, he's got a nice window to throw into and would have still beat the linebacker, but his arm got hit as he threw, which let the ball float just a little and it's picked off. You also see the ridiculous cheap shot by Gardner Johnson on the pick that was flagged. And also, while I appreciate McKivitz hustling to make a stop after the pick, please don't blow up Jennings again. And then after the pick, we give up an ugly touchdown. So this is a play that we've seen run at us a ton, and the Chiefs are going to run. Once you put this on tape, teams will attack you with it if you don't stop it. Sometimes it's called pin and pull, it's also called the crack toss. You have double crack blocks outside, and I keep seeing people criticize their defensive ends on these. That's not their job. When these crack blocks happen, you have to replace. The safety and corner have to replace on these. It was against plays like this that Richard Sherman separated himself because he was a corner that not only was a great corner, but was physical in the run game on these kinds of plays. When we played it well, our safety was replaced well. Here, Gibson has a shot and misses the tackle. Now, I also know that the coaches are going to get after Young and Givens for their massive lack of effort on this play. Run to the whistle. But that's enough of the bad. Now we'll see the 49ers flip the script and dominate the second half. One thing we were able to do in the second half was get the run game going a little bit, and it started by running our wide zone away from the 2-eye or 1 technique. So I talked about how we struggled against that, and it was on a number of plays. But here we're running away from it, and Brendel is able to seal it off. Ayuk has a great insert block on the linebacker, and we get a nice gain. Then when you get the run game going, you get into the 49ers offense. Play action and a dagger concept to Debo, and the drive ends in a field goal. Back on defense after a decent drive by Detroit, the defense holds to flip the entire momentum of the game. It's 3rd and 4 and we're in man coverage. Detroit is running an inside zone, and this is an incredible play by Fred Warner. He's in man on Laporta. This is so good to read the play and go fill the hole with violence to stuff the running back, so it's 4th and 2. So again, if you watched my preview video, I showed how the Lions love to get matchups with their running backs in the flat. I showed them running a spacing concept twice to get that matchup, and it was something I saw a number of times on film. So on 4th and 2, we come with man coverage with Jair Brown on Jahmyr Gibbs, and what is Detroit running? A spacing concept. If you follow me on Twitter, I talked about how much film I watched of the Lions. Well, here it is. Goff first looks to Gibbs, what I talked about, but with Brown now the matchup, he took it away. That gives Bosa time to get some pressure. Goff has to reset, and the throw is late, and the receiver can't adjust, and it completely changes the game. Then the 49ers get a crazy bounce for a huge gain. This is one of the wilder plays we've seen. So we're coming back to a play that we actually ran on the first drive and got a big pass to Debo, Ryder. Ayuk is going to run down the seam with Debo on a high crosser. This time, the middle safety, Gardner Johnson, is sitting on Debo. This is Purdy's read. The Ryder puts the deep middle safety in a vertical stretch, but the corner played it really well. There's an argument to be made for PI on the corner, but this is insane by Brandon Ayuk. We then follow it up with a touchdown to Ayuk. So we're running a double post concept with Debo on a through route and Ayuk on a widened Skinner, which is something that you're familiar with if you're a member of the website jfa49.com. There, I released the first of what will be a number of exclusive content videos going through deep dives into the 49ers scheme. You can become a member today at jfa49.com, and it also helps support videos just like this. And once we hit 50 members, which we're getting really close to, we're going to raffle off the Handyman electric razor from Manscaped. It's a $90 value. Check it out today. We also then have McCaffrey on a flat route. Detroit is in man double lurk, so they'll have 2 inside lurk defenders. Then to help on McCaffrey, they'll have the defensive end disrupt his release to allow the linebacker to get out on him. Purdy does a good job looking to Debo, drawing the attention of Gardner Johnson, and Ayuk runs a great route, and Purdy gets the ball in before the safety can close the distance. Back on defense, we force a fumble, and you're seeing how a game can turn so quickly when a team isn't on the details. So the Lions are trying to run a trap play, or what we used to call belly. They're going to block down, away from Armstead, bring a puller across to kick him out, and run up inside. The running back is supposed to take a step and a half toward the puller side. Here, Gibbs gets confused and takes his initial step the wrong way, nearly runs into Goff, and it's an awkward handoff. He never is able to fully secure the ball, and Gibson flies in to strip the ball out. So now back on offense, we'll see Purdy start to use his legs. Here, Brock wants Debo working against zone, doesn't like it, and pulls it down and takes off. This is doing things with his legs you see some of the quote-unquote elite guys make. What I love with Purdy is, you know he's not using this because he can't work the progressions. When a guy can do the things from the pocket Purdy can, but also do this, that's why the 49ers are headed to the Super Bowl. We then get McCaffrey in for a score to tie the game. This is a power man run, and watch the block by Feliciano. This is textbook goal line gritty blocking. Back on defense, again, great disguise, great execution, and great call. So we're showing man coverage. Right at the snap, we're backing out in a creeper blitz again, cover 2 zone. This time, inverting with Tayshaun Gibson dropping down as the mic. This disrupts Goff's read. You can see how many extra steps he takes at the top of the drop, and is late over the middle where Gibson makes an absolutely perfect pass breakup, and the Lions punt on the drive. So back on offense, we're trying to run a dagger concept again off play action. This time the Lions are coming with a fire zone blitz. But my goodness, Brock Purdy gets out of the tackle, with the Lions having the top taken off and Purdy scrambling, Juice is all alone and Purdy finds him for a first down. But like I said, a big key to getting the run game going a little bit was running away from the 2-eye, or in this case, the 1 technique. Then after getting the run game going, the Lions are now coming with a 5-man front and going cover 1 man. So we're going to have a sail concept dialed up, and Purdy, when he has time, is so smooth and so accurate. Like we've said all year, look at the anticipation on this throughout. And it's an explosive that nets a field goal on the drive to give the 49ers the lead for the first time in the game, and they'd keep it till the clock hit 0. Back on defense, we force another turnover on downs on another strong sequence. So we're again showing the muddled look with Warner up on the line, and are again coming with Greenlaw on a creeper blitz and dropping into cover 2 zone with Gibson as the mic. The Lions have a bench concept dialed up, which is a bench route paired with a flat route. Goff, feeling the pressure, gets the ball out quick, short of the sticks, and Mooney Ward is right there to make the stop, leading to 4th down. So now on 4th and 3, they start out with Gibbs out wide. With Greenlaw on him, this looks like man coverage, and they motion him back inside. The Lions are running a mesh concept, which is a man beater as it creates interference on the shallow crossing routes. At the snap, we drop out and cover 2 zone. Goff wants to go to the shallow crossing route, but with Logan Ryan dropping into the zone, he's taken it away. And also huge props to Logan Ryan here. He plays safety but was brought into the game because of an injury to Ambry Thomas, and he ends up being the key player in a massive disguise to beat the concept on a huge play in the game, from a position that he probably didn't even practice this week. That is a guy understanding the details of the game plan and not just his role. From the end zone, we have a real nice twist dialed up. Hargrave will slant across and Armstead twist around. They destroy Detroit's offensive line with it, and with the concept defeated by the coverage call, Goff has to try and scramble, and that's no good for anyone but the 49ers. Back on offense, we're facing a massive 3rd down. It's 3rd and 4, 4 minutes left, up by 3. The Lions show man coverage and we have a good man beater dialed up. We're going to run Ayuk on a basic route, which will run interference for Jennings on a flat route. McCaffrey on a rail route, which will then interference for Jennings on what is actually a drag China. But it'll take a little time. Purdy has to hold the lurk defender to keep this open. But the pocket starts breaking down. He's going to see an opening and watch him make 3 guys miss before he gets to the 1st down marker and stick a dagger in the heart of the Lions. And you can see the frustration by Gardner Johnson. Love to see it. Then McCaffrey gets an explosive in the run game. Like I said, after the first half, we ran these wide zones away from the 2-eye or 1 technique, and the blocking on the edge wasn't perfect, but with McCaffrey, he can make one guy miss a lot, and he does here. Mitchell then gets in for the score. This is a power man, not blocked great, but this is Elijah Mitchell not being denied a trip to the Super Bowl, and it effectively seals the game. There were a number of other plays to show, but like I said, to make sure I got this done in time to prepare to get to the Senior Bowl, that's all we have time for. I also want to thank Power Brand Systems for hosting my members' website. If you're a small business owner or content creator, check out the link in the description below that's a personalized Johnny Dell link. They can help you grow your business, expand your reach, and allow you to save your most valuable asset, your time. Check them out today. It's crazy to think that this is only the 2nd time Kyle Shanahan has had a quarterback start an entire season, and both times he's gone to the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy has been him this season, and the 49ers are now 4 quarters away from a 6th Lombardi trophy. This is it, faithful. The moment the entire season is all about. Be on the lookout next week for a scouting video on the Chiefs. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.